From the Hussman School of Journalism and Media at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, covering the full range of Tar Heel athletics. This is Sports Extra.
Good morning and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm Charlie Costal.
And I'm Bethany Pryor. Charlie, another day has passed, another Saturday has passed, leaving us with only frustration and disappointment.
Agreed, but luckily for the fans and my blood pressure, the women's teams held strong.
And that's right, Charlie, no one held stronger than our volleyball heels. In the second blue blood volleyball match of the week, Carolina headed to Cameron Indoor on Saturday. The Heels started strong and had quick responses to Duke's attack. They picked up with this substantial block by Lauren Shutter and Lainey Smith and kept power from there, taking set 1 25-14. Set 2 was a whole lot closer than the first, and the Heels had a few minor mistakes allowing Duke to catch up. Everyone played their part in keeping the energy high, and Sophie Hampton's attack was unreal. That was just one of her 16 kills. Carolina took set 2 25-17. The Blue Devils responded to the first two sets by starting set 3 on the ball. The Tar Heels showed out, and that kill by Chelsea Thorpe helped push the Heels to victory. The Devils fought hard, but it wasn't enough to top Carolina. With a season and career-high ace count for Emily Bobbitt, UNC took the third set and swept Duke 3-0, the fourth sweep in a row by the better blue.
If the ball's getting past us, we know we can rely on our back row defenders to have our backs, and then just playing suffocating defense. We want it to feel like you just can't score.
Charlie, we had a lot of good in that game, but I think that we have to mention our serve. Our serve was really powerful. Emily Bobbitt led the Heels with a career high of 4 aces. That's just really impressive.
4 of the team's 8. It was a very powerful performance all around, but I'd like to take a look at Duke. Their freshman, Ashby Savchevich, led the team with 7 kills, and that's all right, but you take a look at her 2 previous matches, she had 21 apiece, so she played significantly worse against Carolina, which we always like to see.
We love to see the pressure that the Heels put on these other teams. I think Carolina comes into each game with high energy, a lot of camaraderie. They put pressure on each of these teams with their energy and just their friendship on the court. I love seeing them play. They bring the power every time, and they put pressure, leading to the last 3-4 sweeps in a row.
Yeah, and it's well-timed momentum. That much is clear. They've got 4 road games coming up this weekend. They've got Clemson and Georgia Tech. But to break down a little bit more of what happened this weekend, we've got Sports Extra and UNC Volleyball's own Zoe Barron in the studio. Zoe?
Thanks, Charlie. That's right. We didn't sweep Duke once, but twice last week. And let's break down the game plan. So, first of all, we were talking a lot about establishing the middle of the court. And this play does just that. So here we had a great dig by Maddie May, and then Emily Bobbitt sets Sophie Hampton on the bick. So sometimes you would think establish the middle of the court means set the middle blocker, but that's not always the case. Sophie had a great textbook kill here. And then in the next play, I want to talk about in-game switch. So what we had was I was passed a little bit far back on the sideline here, and I set it across court to Sophie Hampton. All game, we've been setting short string, trying to get the ball to the floor as fast as possible, but I switched up the tempo a little bit, kept the defense on their heels here, and I just want to shout out Sophie Hampton. She's had a great season so far, and the AVCA Player of the Year watch list. I can't wait to see what she does the rest of the year. Back to you guys.
That's right, Charlie. I mean, she said it best. Sophie Hampton is just putting pressure on opponents game after game, and that's why she's on the AVCA watch list.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to sound like a broken record here, but Sophie Hampton is just a monster. 16 kills in the last match and a .615 hitting percentage is just absolutely insane. But is there anything in particular that you think makes her special?
Yeah, I think Zoe mentioned this a little bit, but Sophie Hampton's a very smart outside hitter. Outsides are typically set the most just because you're your most consistent hitter. It's easier for the setter to set in front of them instead of behind them, like to Chelsea Thorpe. But Sophie just is really smart with the sets that she gets. She doesn't just swing at the ball. She tools the block. She uses the high hands. She puts the ball into where the defense isn't. And I think that's just really impressive for a hitter.
There's no doubt she's one of Carolina volleyball's biggest stars, known for the energy, leadership, and all-around impact on the court. Reporter Emmy Ingles caught up with Sophie Hampton to learn more about the player bringing power and positivity to the Tar Heels.
On the court, Hampton brings power, precision, and energy that lifts the Tar Heels. Behind every swing and every point is a story of passion, resilience, and growth. From her journey to Chapel Hill to the impact she's making this season, Hampton has become more than just a player. She's a leader and a spark for Carolina volleyball.
I think as a leader, it's important to step outside of yourself. And so freshman year, it was hard to learn how to be a supporter off the bench. So it wasn't really about me at all. It was about how I can cheer my best, how I can support people my best way. And so I think now this year, it's more of a, how can I step outside myself even when I am doing well? Like, I just got a really good swing, but who set that ball? Who passed that ball? Is there a freshman on the court? Are they feeling good about themselves?
Versatility is one of her biggest strengths.
So if I'm having a really bad passing day, I can go score some points. If I'm having a really bad hitting day, I can just go dig balls. I can pass and serve receive and give other people a chance.
Head coach Mike Shaw mentions that Hampton is extremely good at welcoming new players into the program.
I think it was a really tough adjustment for her when she came to college as a freshman, and I know she doesn't want others to have the same struggles that she did. So she really does a good job of mentoring the younger players, spending time with them, taking them to get groceries, whatever it takes just to be with them more.
Hampton wants to be remembered for her energy. Whether the Heels are winning or losing, she wants the crowd to see that she has the best energy on the court. I'm Emmy Ingles reporting.
ACC play this weekend as they look to build on their strong start to the season.
On Saturday, the struggling Tar Heel football team faced the struggling Clemson Tigers in Kenan Stadium. Clemson wasted no time, scoring a touchdown just 11 seconds into the game on this 75-yard trick play bomb. Quarterback Max Johnson returned for his first start since his leg injury, posting decent statistics that unfortunately didn't translate to the scoreboard. In the fourth quarter, the Heels got points with a touchdown by number 28, Benjamin Hall. After the snap, Johnson hands off the ball to Hall as he drives through Clemson's defenders into the end zone, but it wasn't nearly enough. Clemson scored touchdown after touchdown in the first half, defeating the Heels 38-10.
In our minds, we're thinking, okay, score 0-0, just go, just work, doesn't matter. So we just gotta, come together as a team better, play more complementary football, and just bring out the best versions of ourselves.
Football analyst Alden Archdeacon will try and explain how the Heels can recover. Alden, it's been a rough season.
Yeah, thanks, Bethany. I think that's safe to say. I mean, to be honest, I thought we had already reached our valley with the TCU and UCF game. But this game on Saturday, it was a major low point. Clemson rolled us, and they rolled us early. Let's look at that very first play you mentioned just a few seconds ago. You can see here, Klubnik's going to throw it to the back. He's still behind the line of scrimmage. And what happens here is this safety comes in, and he takes a terrible angle at T.J. Moore. T.J. Moore just zooms by, no shot whatsoever. It's a touchdown. By the way, the running back made a really nice throw there, put him right in the basket, and that was a touchdown. Let's move on later in this first quarter. You can see here, Cade Klubnik, he's going to fake the pitch. And what happens here is that we got two middle linebackers who are just in this zone that are just watching Cade Klubnik. And there's so much space down here. And Klubnik's going to recognize that. He's going to dump it off to Adam Randall. Sure enough, he does that. And then on top of that, we miss tackles. The blocking from Clemson is good, and they score. We should have been able to stop that touchdown there at the very least, but we cannot make the tackle in this game. And then this final play, you got two backs in the backfield. What's going to happen here is Adam Randall, once again, is going to be a major factor. He had over 100 scrimmage yards in this game. He's going to run a little wheel route up top. And what you'll see here is that the defensive backs and then the safety, they miscommunicate. Nobody picks him up. They wanted Coleman to pick him up. He sure enough did not, and they scored. Easy read for Klubnik. The reality is that we went out. We spent $10 million on Bill. We got a new GM, Lombardi. We spent a lot of money in the NIL portal, and it's not paying off. We fired Mac Brown because we weren't happy with the 6 to 8 win seasons, and right now that looks like a really, really big stretch and the maximum peak we could hit this season. Bethany?
Thanks, Alden. It definitely takes more than a big-name coach to win football games. Charlie, we said at the beginning of the season that we thought the Heels were only going to lose 2 games this season, but showing that we were a little bit wrong with our predictions.
Yeah, I mean, we lost to Clemson, and I think you and I definitely lost our journalistic integrity just a bit. But I know there was a lot of bad, but we definitely did see some solid performances from Max Johnson and Jordan Shipp, so there is a little bit of a bright side. However, the defense was completely lost. We couldn't make tackles against those screen plays. Clemson was hitting us with trick plays, a little bit disrespectful, and just a big disappointment.
Yeah, really disappointed in our defense. I know Bill Belichick is known for his defense, and so this is a little bit disappointing because we were hopeful that the defense would step up this year. But we do have to talk about Max Johnson. 213 yards yesterday. He had a pretty great game for his first start, so hopefully there can be a little bit of a pickup in the later of the season.
Yeah, regardless, it's the type of weekend that makes you think, thank God for a bye weekend. But we might not be the only ones. I know somebody who's going to be pretty upset over the bye weekend. When you think of Carolina traditions, one of the most iconic is Ramses, the Tar Heels' live mascot. Sports Extra's Joella Pugh takes us to Hogan Farm to learn a little bit more about the ram behind the blue horns.
Is a second home here on campus. Same goes for our mascot Ramesses. When he isn't in Keenan, Ramesses lives on the Hogan farm, right here in Chapel Hill.
Ramesses! The Hogan family has been proud caretakers of Ramesses for over 100 years. This is Ramesses 22.
It's a daily care to make sure that he's safe and happy, and he's very safe, very happy.
He has free choice of about 6 to 8 acres of grass, so he can come and go and eat as he wishes.
He lives quite a sweet life.
The Hogan family has worked hard to make him accustomed to interacting with people.
As we take him out of the pen, we put a lead on him, and it's like he goes into sort of Ramesses mode. He's like, okay, he's chill. He says, let's go do this.
When fans see Ramesses, their reactions say it all.
I literally have never seen anybody not react with a big smile and an exclamation of, oh, there's Ramesses when they see him. People just love him.
Ramesses is a symbol of family, history, and the Carolina spirit.
I think it's such a long-standing tradition, and it's so loved by the alumni and the students that I think it's very important that he be a presence. I mean, he's the mascot, of course, and so he is a presence, and we love doing that. We love making him available.
Ramesses loves having his picture taken, so don't be shy about asking. I'm Joella Pugh, reporting.
Ramesses is now located in the Ram Pen, located right outside of Gate 2 at Keenan Stadium. Fans can stop by and grab a photo with him before kickoff at the next home game.
Bringing some positivity to the football Heels after battling through injuries last season, former North Carolina standout Javonte Williams showed shades of his Tar Heel days Sunday against the Jets. Early in the game, Williams took the handoff and powered his way through multiple defenders, showcasing the strength that made him a star in Chapel Hill. The 66-yard run set up a Tar Heels touchdown and was part of a career-high performance, as Williams finished with the 135 rushing yards and a touchdown. He remains one of the most physical runners in the NFL.
Bethany, it's nice to take a step back and realize that we still have Tar Heels out there dominating the game. I hate that it had to happen against my Jets, but I was glad that it was a former Tar Heel.
Glad that it's a former Tar Heel, but he's not the only standout. We have Drake May. They beat the Patriots beat the undefeated Buffalo Bills yesterday off a walk-off field goal.
Yeah, walk-off field goal and a great performance from Drake May. And they're not alone. On the other side of things, on the hard court, we have Tar Heels making waves. Sometimes success takes time, like in the case of one of our former stars on the basketball team. 2024 ACC Player of the Year, RJ Davis, made the most of his NBA debut. RJ Davis brought his scoring ability to the NBA hard court for the first time on Friday in his preseason debut against the Phoenix Suns. The Jerry West Award winner hit 5 of 8 from the field and finished the night with 14 points and a steal in only 18 minutes of action. And while the Lakers came up short, head coach and former Dookie J.J. Redick called Davis a bright spot in the loss. Bethany, a bright spot he was, and you got to hope that the current roster right now is hoping to follow in Davis's footsteps.
We hope that Davis left his legacy on the Tar Heel court. We're really excited to see what they can do this year, and we got a little bit of a taste of what they could do on Saturday.
That we did. The men's basketball blue and white scrimmage on Saturday made up for a tough day of football. In 2 12-minute halves, the Heels gave fans a taste of what this upcoming season could look like. Senior guard Seth Trimble showed off, landing shots and sending clever passes to his teammates. Junior Luka Bogovac paraded his ability behind the arc, nailing several threes. Caleb Wilson and Henry Vesar together were a force, proving their height will be a serious challenge to this year's opponents. and guards like Kyan Evans and Jaden Young debuted their passing skills. The white team took the win 55-50, and the season opener isn't too far away.
Needing a win to stay in position to make the ACC tournament, Carolina women's soccer hosted Pitt on Sunday afternoon. A relentless back and forth characterized the game's start, while goalkeeper Hannah Johan recorded 5 saves in the first half. UNC struck first after Linda Olmart collected a missed shot and snuck the ball into the corner of the net. Johan notched back-to-back saves, including this low shot in the left corner, to keep Pitt scoreless going into halftime. The Panthers came out hot in the second half. They stormed down the field and netted their first goal to tie the game 1-1. North Carolina responded quickly after Olivia Thomas found Lauren Malsom open to a diagonal cross to give the Tar Heels the lead. Thomas struck again in the 77th minute, sprinting to the baseline and punching it in from a tight angle. UNC wins 3-1.
Coach Dana's been talking a lot about second actions, so I really wanted to sprint down there, get in the box, and just have players to get to, and it worked out.
Carolina men's soccer traveled to Louisville to take on the Cardinals on Friday night. UNC attacked early. In the 9th minute, a cross from Andrew Check found Gabriel Bracken-Sarah, who headed into the back of the net, scoring the Heels' first and only goal of the match. UNC continued to control possession throughout the first half. The Cardinals had many scoring chances in the second, but the Tar Heels defense remained strong. The Heels won 1-0, extending their unbeaten streak in ACC play. On Sunday, the third-ranked North Carolina field hockey team traveled to Old Dominion for another crucial matchup. The Tar Heels struck first and controlled the pace throughout the opening corner, keeping the Monarchs' offense silent. Midway through the second, Kara Heck extended UNC's lead with a clean finish to the bottom corner. However, Old Dominion responded quickly, finding the back of the cage for its first and only goal. In the second half, Danny Mendez added to the Tar Heels' advantage, capitalizing on a beautiful setup from Riley Heck to make it 3-1. Not long after, junior Charlie Bruder slipped one past the ODU goalkeeper, sealing the 4-1 victory for North Carolina. With the win, the Tar Heels improved to 11-1 on the season. They'll return to Chapel Hill next weekend to resume ACC play against Virginia. And as we look ahead to the Tar Heels' next conference clash this Friday, let's turn to our field hockey analyst, Gray's game plan. Sophia?
Thanks, Charlie. I'm back at the board with UNC field hockey captain and Sports Extra's own Riley Heck. Thanks for joining me again, Riley.
Thanks for having me.
Now, you guys have a big conference rival coming up this Friday. I mean, UVA currently stands undefeated. So they're led by junior Mia Abel. She's the leading goal scorer so far. What makes her so special?
She is a defender, which is very tricky because usually defenders don't score that much. So her being the leading goal scorer, we're definitely going to have to play defense from the back to the front. And she scores a lot of her goals on corners, so we have to make sure our corner defense is on top.
All right, and I've noticed that they've scored nearly half of their goals in the fourth quarter, making them kind of more of a rally comeback team. Is that going to change y'all's defensive approach at all on Friday?
I don't think it will change our defense. We're just going to have to play the full 60 minutes as hard as we can and just not let up. And,
yeah, and you guys actually have a transfer from UVA this year, Danny Mendez. She scored 6 goals already so far as a Tar Heel, really making her mark. Can you walk me through one of her goals?
Of course. So right here, you can see that there's a big pocket of space right before the defenders get there, and she uses her skill to take that space and then gets by them and has a beautiful shot on cage.
And do you know how she's feeling going into Friday? Is she excited? Is she a little bit nervous facing her old school?
She's definitely excited. I think she's probably she wants to have one of the best games of her life because she's obviously playing her old team, so I think it's going to be a good one for her.
All right, well, thank you so much again for joining me. We'll certainly be cheering you guys on Friday. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Sophia. Now on Friday, the women's cross-country team traveled to Chicago to run in the Loyola Lakefront Invitational. Ciara O'Shea was the Heels' top finisher, placing 11th with a time of 21 minutes and 2 seconds. 4 of the 11 Tar Heels placed within the top 90. On the men's side, Colton Sands and Tomer Tarragano stayed in the lead pack from start to finish. Sands crossing in second with a time of 23:21, and Tarragano right behind in third at 23:22. The Tar Heels finished sixth overall.
With the indoor track season right around the corner, the UNC men's team has added depth to its jumps group. Reporter Nicholas Steed introduces a potential star the Tar Heels picked up from the transfer portal.
Transfer sophomore Kyle Archie is ready to take flight this season with the Tar Heels jump squad, making the leap from a Division II program to the Power 4 stage.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed my time being at a Division II school, local school, Kutztown University, from where I'm from in Reading, Pennsylvania. I met a bunch of people there that created memories that'll last a lifetime, bro. So I'm definitely grateful for that.
After competing at the Division II level, Kyle reminds us not to overlook the talent. Level emphasizing that D2 athletes can hold their own against Division I competition.
The Division II level is definitely, I think, underestimated. There's a bunch of dogs at the Division II level, that transfer up to Division I level as well. So I feel a lot of people underestimate D2, when I think in reality you get to see a bunch of dogs there as well that actually are competing and trying to get to the same things that you are at the end of the day.
With the PR of 6'10", Kyle is already ranked as one of the top high jumpers in the ACC. With indoor season right around the corner, he has big goals for the upcoming year.
Trying to get to the conference championships. The conference championships is definitely always that vibe. The energy is always up. That's just the meet you always want to be at. And then definitely for an outdoor season, want to get to that regional meet, because the regional meet, anything can happen.
Kyle Archie is looking to have an impactful first year with the Hills, adding more depth to the jumps group. I'm Nicholas Steed, reporting.
Kyle's message is simple. Don't sleep on Division II athletes. In his first year with the Tar Heels, he's ready to show that he can compete with the very best in Division I.
Charlie, it's really hard to believe that we're more than halfway through the semester. It's really hard for me as a senior, not getting sentimental, but I'm excited because there's some more sports coming up.
Yeah, and I think, namely, we've got baseball to look forward to. I'm very excited to see them back out there on the Bosch. It's getting a little cooler, getting ready for baseball season.
Yeah, baseball is back, as you said, and they kicked off the fall offerings with an exhibition scrimmage on Friday. The 13-inning scrimmage against Walters State highlighted veteran arms like Jason DeCaro, Ryan Lynch, and Folger Boaz, who all flashed new pitches. Junior college transfer Cooper Nicholson stole the show with a triple-digit exit velocity and a 2-run homer, while infield Gavin Gallagher also left the yard. The Tar Heel offense exploded for 17 runs, while the pitching staff allowed just 1. Now we're joined by baseball expert Grace Nugent. Grace, you've had the opportunity to cover the Heels last season and this season, and some of them over the summer. What are you seeing with this exhibition match?
Well, 13 innings, so we got to see a lot of baseball. The Tar Heel offense absolutely exploded, 17 runs. This is really indicative of what head coach Scott Forbes and his staff is looking for. Last year, the thing that kind of let UNC down in the Super Regional against Arizona was a lack of offense and a lack of power. And I mean, it's very, very early, but this exhibition showed that they have some of that this year.
Yeah, and Grace, you got the chance to talk to Forbes. What did he tell you about how this team is looking moving into this season?
Well, first of all, he was very excited to play someone that wasn't his own team in just a different uniform. They love playing Walters State. They do it almost every year. And Forbes has talked about that this team is actually really deep. There's a lot of new faces in the lineup that'll be playing at the plate that UNC fans don't really know that much of. They're from D2s, they're D3s, they're transfers. There's even a guy from Duke. But the pitching staff is really going to be where the strength lies. A bunch of their best arms last year were freshmen. Now they have just more experience, and they should be really dangerous.
So you talked a little bit about it, but we have some newcomers, some transfers from D2, even junior colleges. Who are you seeing that we need to be looking out for this season?
Well, who really impressed me was Cooper Nicholson from Iowa State Community College. I have no clue what they're feeding him in Iowa, but it's really paying off. He does have the power. You mentioned it, Bethany. He had a 106 exit velocity single. He had 108 on his home run. Those, while they are hitting with metal bats, those are looking like big league exit velocities. He should be a really big power bat. And then Eric Paulson played all 4 hours of the scrimmage over at first base. And then Owen Hull in the outfield will probably slot into one of those spots. I see those as 3 guys that can really make an impact. And then behind the dish, Macon Winslow, former Duke Blue Devil, is finally wearing the better blue.
Yeah, we're really excited to see what they can do this year. I know it's getting cooler, as you mentioned, but baseball season makes me excited for that spring weather.
I mean, the weather is just fantastic here. It was a beautiful weekend for baseball in Chapel Hill, and both Boshemer Stadium and campus were absolutely teeming with alumni. I was really fortunate to be able to sit down with UNC alumni who spent more than 30 years in the sports journalism world and owes a lot of his success to his Carolina roots.
UNC class of 90 alum, Deaton Bell, carries his Carolina roots with him wherever he goes.
Carolina shaped
Bell encourages all UNC students to make the most of their time in Chapel Hill and take in as many Tar Heel athletic events as possible. Bethany, Charlie, speaking of athletic events, I hear it's time for our favorite time of the week.
That's right, Grace. It's time to vote for this week's Play of the Week. Charlie, I'm really excited to see these contenders.
Me as well. You know I always am. This is my favorite time. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. Our first play is going to be Chelsea Thorpe. She slammed this kill at Cameron Indoor on Saturday. Duke sent the ball back over and fed it right to Thorpe's fist for the kill.
And for our second play, we have this. Gabriel Bracken-Sarah goal crossed over from the outside for Sarah to head the ball in. It was the only goal of the game, so that means it was the best one. We have a tough choice, as always, this week, Bethany, but if fans are looking for a little bit more Carolina action, I hear there's a new show in town that they can listen to. Do you want to fill us in?
Yeah, Charlie, me and my little brother Jackson, who plays football at Furman University, we started our own little podcast called Prior to Kickoff. Had to play a little bit off of our last name. We have a pretty fun guest coming on today, our own Zoe Barrett, who we heard from earlier, is going to tell us a little bit about the Duke wins this weekend.
I've listened to the first episode. It was great. Highly looking forward to the second one.
Super fun to get that family into it. I love talking with my brother, using his football expertise. Also volleyball. He played volleyball in high school with me, so pretty fun to get talking to him, catch up with him every week, and talk about sports.
Very well rounded. Well, that does it for this edition of Sports Extra.
Join us on Friday for another preview of another exciting weekends in Carolina athletics.